Can we begin? It is so good to be here. Okay. This is going to be very interesting because I had the most amazing week. Most of you know why I became a painter. Because when I was 8 years old and Hitler came into Vienna, and I was supposed to be afraid of the whole world. And I was, with reason. But that reason I carried throughout my life. I became afraid of living. And then Kenny taught me how to meditate. When I meditate, I put the world in front of me. And I say, talk to me. Who are you? And it led me into the program for tonight. I always felt that if people knew each other, there would be love, not hate. And that if I could teach people through my artwork that everybody is worth loving and existing, that I would begin to see that. And it happened in this very indirect way last week. I got a message from a newspaper in Frankfurt, Frankfurter Allgemeine, through a wonderful group that I've worked with for so long, Self-Help. They called and told me that they were going to be sending a man from a newspaper in Frankfurt, Germany, and that he would ask me questions about how do people went through the Holocaust. How did it affect them now? Looking back at who they were and looking at who they are now. And if I could have cheered loudly, I would have done it, because that's something I've always wondered about. Eric was a concentration camp survivor. Unlike my kids, my parents, and me, we escaped. Eric did not. And Eric always said, it was not everybody. It's always only some people. And we tend to blame the world. This newspaper people asked me how it affected me and my family. And when I mentioned that he's going to come here to interview me, my son immediately yelled, I want to be there. And Joni felt that she wanted to be there too. And suddenly they all wanted to get in on it. But I was jealous. I felt this was just for me. But I had the courage to sit down with the kids and say, this is just for me. I know what I want to say. And if we all speak, I won't be able to speak. And they understood. And so, when this wonderful reporter, what I did was I made a page just for them, because I knew in my big information chart of a week and a month, I would get frantic. So his name was Roland Lindner. And his number was a Brooklyn number, which means he was here. I wouldn't have to feel guilty about his traveling from Frankfurt to interview me. And I have his number, which I won't give you because then I would ruin everything. There would be no time for me. And I want the time for me. He arrived at 10 o'clock in the morning. It was yesterday, wasn't it, Kenny? Yes. Well, first remembering how clean Germany is. And how my parents, who came originally from Poland, wanted to be just like the Viennese, very clean. So I cleaned. And this lovely young man came. And because I had meditated and had seen this incredible bravery that we in America have never done, we have never confronted the people from slavery and given them what we had promised, which is a mule and some land and freedom. They never got that. But Germany did give us, through self-help, we were given a pension. I have help through them. And it was done to this wonderful organization called Self-Help, which works with Holocaust survivors. Now let me get to the serious parts. Let me take my glasses off because I don't have to look anymore. What I learned during meditation is that if I take the subject in front of me, this is not the way meditation goes, but it's what I decided I needed. And I say, explain yourself to me. Why did they get brave enough to say, we created a bad life for you during the Holocaust? Are you angry with me? Or do you understand what human beings are? We do terrible things. Sometimes we fix it. Sometimes we sweep it under the rug and don't look. And they are paying for me restitution for the money and the items and the life we lost. And I'm awed and grateful. So let me tell you what I learned. First of all, I have to talk about Roland. This good-looking, athletic young man who was able to kneel and bend, which I can't do anymore. I told him what I feel, which is, I don't want to use the word God because it could be Buddha, it could be Christ, it could be Jehovah. Let me just say the image we use for that which created the universe. That it isn't finished yet. If Roland's newspaper could say, this is what we did, how did it change your life? Tell me. Then there is no good and evil. There is just our interpretation. And so I explained to him what I've learned during meditation. God gave us a right hand and a left hand. My right hand does specific things. My left hand cannot do what my right hand does, but it could if I train it. together they work, but only together. I was given a right leg and a left leg. Alone, they do not work. It is only if they learn how to live together that I can walk. And what if that is the philosophy by which the universe found how to create itself? That we have to know that together we can do things. Separate, we're crippled. I have arthritis, serious arthritis. If I think a lot about it, I can't walk. But if I exercise it, it becomes strong. And the way Roland moved and walked, he must be exercising. Well, when he left, I put the world in front of me and I looked at it. And I said, let me tell you what I think you are. I think you're not yet finished being created. Every time, every season, the universe shakes itself up and redoes itself. The rain which brings life to a flower also brings floods which drown people. There is no right and there is no wrong. There's only how we use what God has given us. My right leg works, but not alone. My left leg needs the right leg. My right leg needs the left leg. We need each other. We were made to belong to each other. Human beings put things into categories, and all this I've learned through meditation by putting the issue in front of me and saying, please explain yourself. I don't understand. It said once there was nothing, and then something became a thought, and that thought developed by thinking. And it said, I need help. I was made so I cannot do anything by myself. My right leg, my left leg, my right brain, my left brain need to work together like a fine jewel. If I hurt one, the other becomes dead. What the Frankfurter newspaper is doing, it said, this is what we did. How did you survive it? Did you survive it? What happened to you? Well, because Eric had been imprisoned in the concentration camps, our daughter Joni became a member of an organization which works with prisons and has saved countless people by counseling. She also became a Yale lawyer because she was so determined. Kenny created a miracle out of his profession. He's a physical therapist, a psychotherapist, and taught me how to meditate. But he healed so many people. I said to him once, Kenny, how come when you speak to somebody, you know how to heal them. Who are you? What are the questions you ask? Because I've been witness. He lives in my home. I've lived with him all these years. How do you know the language? And how Kenny tried to explain was he cares. We went on vacation once, Kenny and I, and one of his clients wanted to commit suicide. And as we drove, he drove, I listened. As he drove, all he kept thinking of was, how do I save this person? His whole life was immersed in saving this person. And I thought, that's how you do it. You give completely. You don't stop for this, you don't stop for that. If you become a giver, you give. And so when I meditate, the only way I can give is to listen to what the universe says to me. And it always says it comes right back to you. Who you are determines the outcome. If you judge without knowing, you lose. First you have to know. And so in my artwork, I have people sit and talk about themselves. I remember once when I worked in the prison, the questions that I created for the inmates was first, who are the people in your life? And there were very few people in a prisoner's life. And the second question was, how do you feel about them? Oh, this one is mean. I said, no, I didn't ask how you judged them. I asked, how do you feel about them? Feeling and judgment are two different stories. That you learn through meditating. And I am now 96 years old. And when I hate my body because it doesn't work for me, I have arthritis, severe arthritis. And my eyes don't like strong lights. And my muscles are 96 years old. But at the beginning, I hated my body because it gave pain. I don't anymore. I put my hand on my body and I say, thank you so far. I never thought I could be 96 and walking. And I realized, and I want you all to know, like this newspaper, let me repeat the word again, Frankfurter Allgemeine. And his name was Roland Lindner.
Yes, it's one of the most important daily publications in Germany.
Yes. Can they hear you when you said that?
I think so, yeah.
It is to me, because they dare to say, this is how we hurt you. What do you do with it? And it came to me, if there wouldn't be floods after a rain, there also could be no flowers. If I do not take the good as the full truth and the bad as the full truth, it would be like the right foot and the left foot not able to walk together. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. Don't judge. You don't know what one foot is doing. It was made to balance your mistake. We humans make mistakes, but we can fix them. Like this newspaper, they can make me sit down and think, what did I become? I became a really good artist. My son became a wonderful therapist. My daughter saved so many people from despair in the prisons. I have a wonderful granddaughter named Jessie. Jessie's the one who I go to when I need an abstract answer. I'll say, Jessie, in this painting, what do I need to do to balance it? And she will say, what do you want to do? And I give her choices, and she always knows what I need. I learn to ask, but not people who tell me this is so, people who think and guess. And like this wonderful newspaper say, what happened to you because of it? I became somebody with love and help from my family, who I love being. If I would not have lost my home and lived in fear when I was 8 years old, I would not have struggled to begin to understand the world. I wouldn't need to understand it. And Kenny was a gay man during a time when it was so difficult to be gay. If he would not have lived through his own healing, he could not become a source of inspiration and help to so many people. Not only because they are gay, but because they're human. If there are any questions, please ask.
Oh, yeah. So if anybody has any questions or reflections, please feel free to share them.
I'll answer each one.
So,
if I can't finish today, I'm on again next Monday.
yes, but I encourage people to ask anything now because there is space. So Denise Taylor is watching. Hi, Denise. And she says, hello.
You gotta be louder.
Oh, Denise is watching and she says, hello, Hetty and Ken, with big hugs and smiles. And Tibor is listening and watching. And Eddie says, love you, Hetty and Kenny. We love you too. And Dina says, I believe you and Eric bestowed such love and support to Kenny and Joni that they chose amazingly successful careers of service. Thank you, Dina. And Janine is watching. Hi, Janine. And she says, hi, everyone. And Paula, our Paula is watching. And our Michelle Koshka is watching. So yeah, if there's any comments, feel free.
May I speak about love?
Yes.
I think when God created the world, or the universe, when it created the universe, it gave answers. And the only answer that works is the word love. Hate destroys. Love forgives. Love understands. Love does not judge. Love needs to ask, why? And can I help? But first of all, why? And the answer comes back to you. I always watch Channel 13, which is for me an answer to so many things. And they had a little boy, not a little boy, a teenager, who said, could you find me a friend? And the question was, do you mean a girlfriend? He said, it doesn't matter what, but a friend. Somebody to talk to, like people have as friends. And it occurred to me, he's asking for what we all need. And I'm going to try to do something, not through this program, because I don't want to solicit or give names or anything. But join me. There's something called Artists in Partnership, where artists help each other, who have helped me so much. What about kindness in partnership? What about if you're in school and there's a child who's being ignored? If you walk up to that person and say, could you help me with my homework? You can't. Let's see, maybe you could, if I explain my problem, maybe you could. Create a friendship. Don't let somebody be alone. Let's start an organization without asking for donation. I hate what's happening nowadays. Everybody gives you what they need, and then it's a donate. Don't donate, become. Donate, but also become. And I think it's time for me to stop.
It's just about closing, but let me tell you that
And Kenny was going to show some pictures.
we can do that next time.
Perfect.
John Terracuso, creator of your amazing documentary, says, hi, Hetty, hi, Ken, hugs. Do you know when the story will run in the German paper? Sometime in December. That's all we know so far. Hernan says, thank you for these beautiful insights tonight. I feel deeply inspired and grateful for your wisdom. And I think that's a perfect way to close.
Good night. I love you all. And Canada, thank you.
Thank you.